Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. All right, we're going to talk about the Buquet Bridge today. Not that it's not gotten a lot of attention over the last few months, but we're going to try to set the record straight because there's a lot of facts that we should and need to know about it. We have the parish president on board, Mr. Jason Badger. Good to see you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we have Danny Babb, and of course, Councilman in District 7. Danny, good to see you.
Thank you, Martin.
All right, we also have from Royal Engineering, Mr. Chad Albert, the project manager. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so a lot of talk about this, and Mr. Parish President, we'll lead off with you, but sometimes they educate the public. They really need to know what's going on with certain bridges, and I guess that's what we're going to try to do today.
Yeah, and as took over administration, there's a lot of conversations about things that need repair. We're coming up on the 3rd anniversary of Ida, and it's important that the public knows, we want to get this stuff done just as much, if not more, than they do. And the Buquet Bridge has been one that we've had a lot of conversations on. When you look at what I hear on Facebook about why can't this one pay for it or that one do something, I can tell you, especially working with Royal Engineering and this team, our employees also, every time I ask a question, we've asked that question, we've tried that route. And so they've, kicked over every stone, and they're definitely working to make sure we get a replacement bridge as soon as possible. But it unfortunately is a long, drawn-out process that we also feel should happen faster. But unfortunately, based on this specific set of circumstances, we're having to go through this process.
Yeah, let me turn to Councilman Danny Babin, and there were some, I guess we had some different routes we maybe could have gone on it, whether to repair, replace it, or different things. And if not, if that was rumor, maybe we could correct some of the rumors. But I know you know firsthand what was taking place. Maybe explain to the public.
Well, Martin, there's always going to be rumors about things, okay? And first of all, the engineers had to determine, the inspectors had to determine what was damaged on the bridge, what steps were the best steps to take. Then once Royal Engineering got involved, a lot of times it boils down to money. This was not held up over money per se, but yet it at one point it looked like they might be able to replace the entire bridge, and then evidently engineers and FEMA and everybody else determined that it could be repaired. So it's kind of going back and forth. I would prefer deferring to the engineers on that because that's more of their expertise. But again, as Jason just got through saying, nobody wants this bridge open more than we do as government. The past administration, this present administration, I happen to be the councilman both times. And we want this done because it's a road of commerce. I mean, I'm in the seafood business, and a lot of people from by the large who bring their product to Grand Kaya, now it's a 4-mile trip from the Buquet Bridge up to the Combo Bridge and another 4-mile trip from there going down. So you're adding time to it, and also it's adding wear and tear on our parish road, Shrimpers Row.
Yeah. Well, let's turn to the Royal Engineering Group. Mr. Chad Albert is here with us today, and just ask him basically, when y'all went to look at the bridge and make some decisions, what exactly did y'all see?
Yeah, so we went out there and we had an engineer by the name of Huval and Associates go out, and they did a complete damage assessment of the entire bridge from Hurricane Ida.
Pretty renowned group out of Lafayette, are they?
Yes, sir. You are correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And we found, at first we were talking about trying to do a replacement of the entire bridge. However, after back and forth with FEMA, we decided that the best route for this bridge was going to be a repair, but with a replacement of the entire lift span of the bridge. So at the end of the day, you're not replacing the entire bridge in full, but we are going to get a brand new lift span.
And I guess for the public, Chad, there's checks and balances where you can't just go out there and say, okay, let's just replace the whole bridge. If it can be repaired, there's checks and balances along the way, especially when you're dealing with FEMA and everything else. There's a lot of checks that have to be checked off, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir. You are correct. And what I just kind of mentioned about our original intent was for replacement of the entire bridge. Yes. So with FEMA, they have what they call a 50-50 analysis. And after Huval went in and did their 50-50 analysis, it was determined that we didn't quite meet that threshold. So we kind of regrouped, got with FEMA, got with Huval, talked to the parish, and decided that the replacement of the lift span was going to be the best route forward for this facility.
Okay. And let me ask the parish president, of course, you take office, and we've seen things linger for years between parish president. This was one that was on your plate. What kind of response are you getting from the public? Is it pretty intense at this point?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's especially when you just had this water event. We had water on Trippers Road, and I had conversations at that time saying, we have a road that's underwater. What can we do as far as raising the road? If the bridge is closed and the road is closed, it really causes major issues. So every opportunity we've been able to take and say, what does it look like to do a temporary bridge? What does it look like for being able to repair versus replace? So when you look at what's considered a repair that includes a replacement of the span, is 6 months shorter than if they were to repair the span. Mm-hmm. So we've picked the shortest amount of time to get that part of the project done. And then also looking at, to build a temporary bridge would take them just as long to build a temp bridge as it would to do the full bridge itself. Yeah. So we're pushing to make sure this bridge is completed as fast as possible.
All right, let's do this. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk with Councilman Babin again on, I know he's been there and talked to some of the residents also. We'll get his opinion on it. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Since 1954, Terrebonne General has been a beacon of health and hope in our community. As we mark 7 decades of dedication to your well-being, Terrebonne General Health System remains committed to advancing healthcare, improving lives, and expanding our services to meet your evolving needs. In celebrating our past, we look forward to a future filled with promise and progress. Your health is our legacy. To discover more, visit tghealthsystem.com.
All right, welcome back. As we're talking about the Buquet Bridge, I know a lot of you out there very interested in this conversation. We have the parish president with us, Mr. Jason Badgeron of Terrebonne Parish. We have Councilman Danny Babin. He's in District 7. That's his district. Chad Albert, the project manager of Royal Engineering. And so many things have happened to this bridge, Danny. Before we get into specific, you've been down there too. Some people, if you go to Facebook and you say, why do they need a bridge? And you hear all kind of things on Facebook, and sometimes you got to narrow it down. But let you have the floor in that, because it's a valid question, but it has a valid answer.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Morton. I mean, we need a bridge there. First and foremost, all right? When you go to Facebook, you find out there's a lot of engineers on Facebook. They know exactly what's going on. Listen, we as elected officials defer to the professionals on this. That's what we do every day, no matter whether it be a bridge or nuisance abatement or whatever it may be. We have to defer to the people that do it for a living, so to speak. One of the rumors I do want to dispel is that people wonder why we have to have a bridge tender on that bridge. Well, that is dictated to us by the Coast Guard. Mm-hmm. It's mandated that you have to have someone on that bridge, because it could be an obstruction of a navigable waterway if something happened. So that's one of the things. Plus, people talk about, and again, I'll defer to the engineers, and they talk about why didn't we receive money from the 2 vessels that hit it. Well, this is something that this government in past administration and this one have gone after. But when there's no insurance money involved, you can't get blood out of a turnip, so to speak. Okay, so again, these are more things that the engineers can give us to exactly what damage was caused by this, exactly what damage was caused by the hurricane, and again, that
Let me
goes
ask
into.
Mr. Albert, if let me play I'll play the residence part. 3 years to a resident seems like a very long time, especially when you're driving back and forth and all that. Why does it take 3 years? If you could sort of bring us through that process.
Yeah, so there's a number of different avenues that we went through, and as Mr. Babin just mentioned about the vessel that struck the bridge, we went through every avenue possible to see what type of insurance that owner of that vessel had, and that's part of what we do with FEMA too, is doing our checks and balances to make sure that there's no money available there to pay for some of these repairs. So that was one of the steps that we went through, and then from FEMA's end, we presented this project to FEMA back in June of 2022. And then this project was obligated in January of this year. So we're looking at a good, 18 months there back and forth with FEMA to determine this project to be eligible based off of some of the damage assessments, the field inspections that we did with FEMA, the back and forth meetings that we had week in and week out to get this project obligated. And then also involved with this is a very intricate design. So the engineer of record for this project is Huval and Associates. So they started with their preliminary design back in August of last year. We got their 60% final drawing, preliminary drawings last month. And now we're working towards 90% and 100% design. And then our plan is to try to get this out for bid towards the end of October of this year.
Yeah, that's a thorough analysis of it. Seems to me, though, if you don't have insurance on your boat, those big boats, maybe they shouldn't be allowed to pass through, but how do you know if they have it or not? You'd be checking every boat that comes through. But it really does suck that they didn't have insurance and they're responsible for a lot of the damage, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, okay, what's the silver lining? We explained to the people, so it's coming, right? That's all we can really say at this point, Danny?
Yeah, I think so, Martin. And I want to bring out something as well. Through the process with FEMA, because we talked about Shrimpers Row, Shrimpers Row has been utilized an awful lot more. We're hoping, and I think it's pretty definite, that FEMA will be coming up with some additional funds for this parish to maybe have to put up some funds also to, I don't want to use the term redo Shrimpers Row, but definitely enhance it from where it is right now. From a drainage perspective, as Parish President just said, after this last event, there's a couple of sections of the road that need to be lifted, but again, I'm no engineer. Something needs to be done to help facilitate the traffic down there. So that's all in the plans with this. We're going to get a new bridge. We're going to get an upgrade on Shrimpers Row. There is a silver lining at the end. It takes a long time. And it's just government. It just takes a long time. We would all love for it to be opening tomorrow, okay, but it just doesn't happen
Well,
that way.
government's not private business.
It's not. That's
You gotta go
exactly
through
right.
Checks and balances.
That's exactly
Mr. Parish President, we got about 50 seconds left. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I saw something the other day, somebody talking about something in the city takes about a week, something in the parish takes about a month, something in the state takes about a year, and something at the federal level takes 5 years, So I guarantee you and rural engineers would know, what about this? What about that? Have we tried this? I was like, man, I could probably take the span down, bring it to somebody here locally, get it fixed. But when you look at the electrical was damaged due to the roof being ripped off of the rich house, so there are a lot of factors that went into place. The cables were pulled, bearings were bent. I mean, there's a lot of damage to this. Basically, you end up where it's going to be the only thing not changed that's going to stand is the frame. And so we're definitely working to get that done as soon as we
I
can.
want to thank y'all for being here. Let's roll in, Jay. Let's roll in to Father Antonio blessing the bridge. We're going to leave it with that good note. He's blessing the bridge. It will get fixed. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll see you around the corner.
Thank you, Martin.
Holy Spirit, may whoever has to deal with its repairing and all of the bureaucracy behind it. May they get this happen as soon as possible in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.